Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tender. We're taking a look at, this is a members video. We're taking a look at Nividia, and this is the SMH. Just going to take a quick peek at that, and we're looking for a long setup here on Friday, July 19th, options expiration 2024. So it looks, like the market's just going to melt down from this point, but I do believe as the options expire, we're going to get a lift in the market, and we won't be quite so negative. There's setups all over the place. I've been posting those on YouTube and Patreon. So this is one of them in the SMH and also Nividia. All right, so we're going to go through Nividia in multiple time frames, but I wanted to show this one in particular because we're at support, and I'll show this in the market update as well, just the SMH. And we're at that support, and we're peaking underneath. That's very typical. The wedge could play out a little bit more. There's gap support underneath. And you certainly, to be more conservative, you could wait for what I'm looking for, and that's a fake break under this solid support here. And you see it could spike here, get above, and that would be a fake break, and that'd be very, very bullish. So that's the setup we're looking for. And with that said, we're going to go to Nividia. We're going to start from the top down. And we're going to focus mostly on the, it's not going to be a long video. We're going to focus mostly on the lower time frame for the setup. But in the long run, we're bearish. We have the monthly time frame. We're getting 2 reversal candles. I do suspect the first stop here would be the 8 EMA down at 95 for this reversal. We have plenty of month left. This could get more of a move to the downside, but I suspect on the lower time frame that we're going to lift back up. It's going to be more of a doji, real thin, maybe even a little bit of green, but by the end of the month, I do suspect we'll have a similar candle to this. And that's explained on the market update. In particular, let's go down to the weekly. And there's not on the higher time frames too many divergences for Nividia, because I do believe it's going to show relative strength. We do have negative divergence on the weekly and the RSI and the slow stoke, but in the monthly time frame, I do think Nividia is going to go higher. But right now, I think we're looking for a pullback. We have a bearish rising wedge. I think this wedge will break. We're at good support here right now. So on the weekly time frame, look at that. We have the resistance, support, and I do think we get with this 8 EMA a reaction off of here. So ending today, sure. I mean, with the options expiration, this thing could form a doji by the end of the day. That's not unheard of. But what could happen is going into Monday, seeing how the market is so negative today, unless there's some sort of repair, I do think that Monday could be, it is typically a follow-through day. So perhaps we gap down a little bit, form a nice doji here going into next week. But, I do suspect that going into next week that we might have follow-through, but a good wick going higher, meaning that we have a retracement during the week. And I'll show you on the lower time frames what I'm talking about. It could take a little bit longer to play out, but usually these things happen with two or 3 days of retracement. Going to the daily. On the daily time frame, have this sort of triangle happening here. We're rejecting off of it. This, although it looks very bearish, we could easily have a move back above it. It's just a symmetrical triangle look to it. So if you're bearish, then this is where you put your stop. We get back above there, and then this move could start happening. That is a reversal candle that happened here. We're just kind of in the middle of it. And this could be an inside day. This could be our inside day reversal. So we'll see how this ends. And I know that things are curling down. We're underneath the 8 EMA, and we're holding the 50 just above it and underneath the 20. So really what's happening is here, the moving averages are converging. So you could easily see supports and resistance taking out each other sideways. And this could be drawn a couple different ways. It could be drawn as a flag. So, just keep that in mind. I'm going to leave this here for reference. And when and if, I think we have an impulse wave here, and I think we have an impulse wave here. So there's two ways you can look at this as obviously a bull flag, like I just said, which is a 5, 3, 5. That would mean that this correction is complete and we could see a new high. So if this thing wants to rip and hold the market up while Tesla, which we were short Tesla, I showed you that video. We just got out of it today, as a matter of fact, because I didn't want to go against where I think the market's going to go. So we're using it as a hedge as well. So as this could rip higher for one more high, perhaps a double top, very similar to these moves like this, and just work its way up. That's a possibility. I'm not sure that's the case, but this would also be a more bearish scenario, would be that this is a 1-2, and then we're going to get a 1-2 setup and a retracement here. So let's look at this. This is a good, the in between this bow and arrow type retracement, or excuse me, resistance and support around this 128. So we're going to keep that kind of in mind, see if price can get back up to test that 128 area. And if we go down to the 65, we'll look at the Elliott and we'll look first at the traditional. So we have this falling wedge, but we're right at this beautiful support that we saw on the weekly time frame. And just considering that, I think we're looking at a bounce, we're starting to get this positive divergence. We got it right here. And so we're starting to get green histogram on the crossover, the bull cross on the 65 minute. We have RSI, positive divergence, and the slow stoke, which was giving us a little bit of headwind today. And you see how we're kind of creeping down. That's starting to turn. So as soon as we get this buy signal here, I think that we're off into the races. And what I think is happening overall, we had this beautiful trend line breakdown, and then I think we're looking to back test this. Okay, back testing doesn't mean you have to actually hit the trend line again, but we're just back testing coming up, and then we should see lower highs from that point. Now, looking from the Elliott wave, here's the setup that we're taking today. It's a 1-2 setup. So that was our 1-2, 1-2, and now on the lower time frame, we're getting a bull setup, and it's this green area here. So you have the bottom of the candle. I'm considering that the bottom. It's a good bottom to the top here. So this is our initial move for a 1 or an A, and then a B or 2, and we should see a wave 3 or C. Okay, so we're at that 62% retracement. You see we're getting good support here and starting to get a reversal candle on the market. We were down over 2%. Now we're back underneath there, and we should see some follow through. It should be an impulsive move to the upside. Now, where do we go to? We should see a retracement from this local top here. Bring out our retracement tool. Go to that low, and we should see a 50-60% retracement to going into next week. And I do have some time frames set on the market itself. Look at that. That would close the gap right here at the 50%, and then the 62% is that 128 number that I was talking about. That's that bow and arrow resistance. You're going to see a reaction most likely here at the 126. Clearly, it's the gap resistance. We're playing this into next week. I don't think we're going to hold. It's not typical. I like to take off most of my trade, if not all of it, at the 50%, and then let it run. But I won't really start adding shorts until we get the upper end of this area. We'll see how price reacts and see what kind of structure is here going into that. Look at that. We're pushing back down, but we're still holding at that 62%. And even down to the 786 it's just a good range. So we're in that range. I do think we're going to start to see movement here going into next week. Maybe not today specifically because there's so much pressure into the options expiration, but I do suspect we'll get a nice pop next week. So this is our trade setup. 1-2 setup. And looks like we might see price. We'll see how the candle ends, but we might see price down here at the 117, 50 or 64-ish area. All right. So that's what I got for you. We will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful weekend.